second edition of the Fireside Chat. Mark Foulks, our fire chief, highly esteemed fire chief, alongside Justin Beasley, your communications director. We are live today at 1209 North Mount Juliet Road. Many people know as home to Calabria's Brickoven Pizzeria. Many great pizza establishments in Mount Juliet, but this one is a favorite to many people. And Mark, will get into a story a little bit later as to why it's a favorite for you within the heartstrings and why they mean so much to you with the day that we'll talk about in 2020. But I'd be remiss to say congratulations on the new grandbaby. If you want to tell us a little bit about adding to your family tree this week.
Yep, we had our daughter Natalie and her husband Ryan and Natalie Pointer. Natalie delivered on Tuesday our second granddaughter, so our second grandchild, another granddaughter, Miss Hallie Claire, and she was born at 8:03 a.m. on Tuesday. And so we're happy to welcome her aboard, and of course been spending a lot of time this week with her and that kind of thing. And so it's just great to have her here, and she's just a beautiful little baby.
If you're anything like my parents, do you love the grandbabies more than your kids now?
Well,
they're your currency, right?
Yeah, they are, and you can kind of spoil them and send them back, and you can also kind of and you can also kind of laugh about the things that your kids did when they were kids that really infuriated you, and now they're doing to them, and it's kind of their payback, I guess. So that's part of it.
You enjoy seeing that, don't you?
But an old friend of mine, a former fire chief, and former IAFC president, Bill Killen, told me when Bailey was pregnant with our first granddaughter, Remy, he said, Chief, I'll tell you, grandkids are God's gift for not killing your children. I mean, that's what he told me, and I'm realizing that that's the fact. So.
And we learned that God has a sense of humor too,
yes,
through the grandkids as well.
Absolutely.
Also, be remiss if I didn't mention it. It is National Telecommunicators Week, and we have done a great job. The fire department, the police department, really the entire city of celebrating the unsung heroes, because they're the ones that get the call first. They have to remain under control and get people in the right positions to succeed. Tell us about our telecommunicators, what they mean to you, and just, you've done this for quite some time. You understand the value on the cutting room floor of what they are able to do.
Yep. Actually, and I don't even know if you know that, I used to be a 911 dispatcher. Okay. Early in my career, a long time ago, and I won't say how long ago because it'll show how long I've been in this business.
I can only imagine.
But we did
we can guess in the comments, though.
But I was a dispatcher for 911 and telecommunicator, and so Telecommunicator Week is about celebrating our emergency dispatchers, both police, fire, medical. Our dispatchers do a fantastic job all the time. I mean, they do everything all the way through from handling the call of someone calling in with the emergency, oftentimes on the worst day of that person's life, that they're calling in and getting on the phone. They are a lifeline to the people there that are having the emergency, but they're also a lifeline for us. And that's what a lot of people don't think about is, for us, police officers, firefighters, paramedics, all of us, getting that vital information, one, getting us there to the correct address and making sure that we get to the scene in an appropriate amount of time or quickly is one. Two is making sure that we are safe when we get there, making us aware of known hazards that may have been kind of given to them over the phone, or known hazards that we may have from a history of that call location. All of those things, they are a critical lifeline to us, and they're just essential. And they go kind of unseen a lot of times, and you don't think about them because you're only on the phone with them when you're calling for just a few minutes, and then we're arriving on the scene and doing all those things. But it's really a vital lifeline for us, and I just can't say enough about what they do for us to keep us safe, but also protect our community. They are just one of the chains, one of the links in the chain, so that the big link in the chain for us to make sure that we get everything done that a lot of people just don't think about.
And in a way, they're the quarterback. They've got the headset, they're getting the information, and now they have to get everybody in the position to succeed. Tell us a little bit about how many we have staffed of telecommunicators, and I imagine it's like anything else, we'll need more as the city continues to grow.
Yeah, there's at least 2 in there staffed all the time, and a lot of times there's 3 in there staffed all the time. But they're doing everything from receiving the call to giving pre-arrival instructions, CPR pre-arrival instructions, or pre-arrival instructions as far as medical issues that you may be able to do, getting someone out of the house if the house is on fire, encouraging them not to go back in the house for any reason at all, because that's really dangerous. all of those things, and just making sure that they're taking care of people. But we have those staffed at all hours, at least two are staffed at all hours. And of course, during the daytime and evening hours, it gets a lot busier than overnight. So they're typically a lot slower overnight, but it's busy then. But as we continue to grow, we're already building in programming for a larger 911 center, our dispatch center in the new police department building. So that's already been thought of, much more expanded role. And as our city continues to grow, we're making sure that all of our emergency resources, the emergency operations center, their dispatch center, the police department, fire stations, all of those things are coming into line the way we need them to.
And it's really important too, because you think about telecommunicators. It's a job where you can graduate to something else in the city. I know you're an example of, you're a fire chief, started out as a telecommunicator. Jennifer Hamlin, our development services director, was a telecommunicator, and now she's a department head. So you think about, it's just a great job to kind of get into the city, kind of learn everything, and you can go really from anywhere from there. Hey, Valen, before we were talking about lifelines, Valen Urifi, the owner of Calabria Brickoven Pizzeria, joins us. We got a lot of viewers. I think they're looking for you, so I don't want to lose them. I think you're bringing them. If you want to put that on. Mark, let's brag on Valen a little bit. Tell him your first time meeting him before you were even employed from the city of Mount Juliet, and really kind of all makes sense, full circle moment for you today.
Absolutely. First met Valen in 2020, the night of the tornadoes, and I wasn't exactly sure what time he got here that morning, but I knew it was early. I knew it was before sunrise, because I remember him opening the doors here to his business and allowing us to use the restroom, because this shopping center here at Valley Center was where we had the command post set up. And so we were kind of at a staging area and a command post. We had a lot of trucks and all that stuff kind of starting to arrive here and all those things. And Valen was kind enough to come in here and open his business up. He doesn't serve breakfast, so it's not usual for him to be here at 5 o'clock in the morning, per se, preparing food or doing anything like that. But he literally opened his doors up and not only allowed us to use the facility for restrooms and other things, but started preparing food for us and that morning of the tornado. And so I came over from Murfreesboro and got here probably an hour and a half before Valen did. But Valen opened up, and it was just a great lifeline for us to have here. And it was actually the first time that I had eaten at his restaurant. He's been here, and he told me, for 8 years now. And that was the first time that I had eaten at his restaurant. And then every time that I came back over to Mount Juliet before I was hired here, I came here most of the time and ate lunch here, or whenever I was over here for any reason. And so that's something he probably doesn't even know, but I definitely did. And we love coming here to eat. Can't afford to eat here too much because of my waistline, not the price of the food, my waistline. Absolutely. But
he helps out with the waistline as much as he can when he talks about his pizza. With the dough, right?
Yep, absolutely. But I really appreciate Valen and all he did and all his business does. This is a great example of a local business that we love to support. The fire department, he supports us. We support him in turn. And I'm just thankful that the community supports him the way that they do. But why wouldn't they? I mean, this place is a great everything. Pizza, the spaghetti. I mean, what's sitting here behind us right now that you got to keep your eyes off of a little bit. But he does a great job.
Well, thank you.
Val, where does your love for first responders come from? And maybe it's organic from the tornadoes, but a lot of first responders come in, patronize your business. Got to make you and your staff pretty excited, I bet.
I mean, a love comes from, because these guys put their life on line to protect all of us here. So, I mean, why wouldn't we, support them when we have a chance? So,
right.
I mean, we do very small compared to what they do, police department, fire department, all those guys. They work really hard to keep our community safe and all that. So what I do and what we do is a very small thing compared to what they do. So that's just,
But it allows us to live the dream and have that, first responders, it's everything, I think we were talking about the other day, Mark, one of 10 fire departments in the state that has an EMS unit within the fire department. You look at our property tax and how much of that we ask from our citizens is very little, one of the smallest in the state. So it allows people to move here and have the houses to patronize businesses like Valen's. And Valen, I feel like I should pay rent here a little bit more because I'm doing a live. It seems like every month here with Valen. He's always opening the doors. We had somebody come through that said, "You're doing social media," and it's like Valen knows the marketing game and does it well, as if he needs any of it. But plenty of people coming through to eat lunch today. Valen, what do you got on the menu that people are loving during lunch lately?
Lunch, what we started lately is the panini, so they're very popular during lunch. So, fresh dough that we prepared as they're ordered. So, but calzones are very popular during lunch, as well as pizzas. So,
Yeah,
definitely we got some killer salads. If you're not in the mood for a pizza, so definitely we can
work on the waistline.
work on the waistline as well.
Help me out a
I'm
little
hiding
bit.
mine with the computer.
Help me out a little bit here.
I understand. Well, Valen, man, we thank you. We
Well,
want to
thank
talk
you.
a little bit more
Alrighty, yeah.
fire stuff, but
Not a problem.
I've been pretty open about our Facebook lives. If you don't hear anything me and Mark say, if you see that we're doing a fireside chat at a restaurant and the title says Calabria's or Calabria's, as you say, come here, patronize it. We're doing this at 11 before people take off for lunch, and I'm going to take credit for everybody that comes through these doors today. But you get all the money, so
we thank you.
We're thankful for you.
And this is the first fireside chat that we've done by fire.
It is.
We got an actual.
Yeah. I'm sure the other restaurant would have done the same for us if we asked. But this is truly made to be here.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Valen, thank you again,
thank
man.
you.
Thank you.
I'm going to grab that mic from you real quick before you run off. But we made sure to get peak viewership for you to get your story across. We also want to talk a little bit about the fire on Tuesday. I know people got that MJ alert, and we're able to get an update from Sammy Kincaid, our public information officer. We had some news coverage there as well. Mark, if you want to just go into a little bit about the details of what your department experienced that day and what you were able to respond to, it was pretty far out there, and that's going to justify having a new fire department closer sooner.
Yep, and we talked about that last month about Station 3 new location right here on Lebanon Dirt Road, just up the street from where we're sitting right now. We were very concerned about our coverages out toward that area, and that's the reason we're moving that station there, is to get better coverages out Old Lebanon Dirt Road and a little bit further south. What allowed us to do that was last year opening the North Green Hill Station. So that covers us really, really well to the north, which is, if we had moved Station 3 before that station was built, we would really be lacking in coverage in that north area. Now that we have Station 2 built on Green Hill Road, we're able to move Station 3 to a better location, to be more centralized, as well as cover out Old Lebanon Dirt Road. There's a lot of homes out there. There's a lot of subdivisions out there that are in the city, and we want to make sure that we give them even better coverage than they have right now. But our firefighters, we really had we kind of had a lot going against us the other day with that fire. It started outside of the house and actually worked its way into the house via a back deck that was a covered back deck that had a lot of, it was made out of wood, so a lot of wood materials. There were a couple of propane tanks, that are kind of off gas as they got hot, and created more of a fire situation for us. And the wind was really blowing on Tuesday. So we had a lot of wind issues that were blowing the house. Basically the fire directly into the house. And so, there were just a lot of issues there. The main room that fire got into shortly after it took hold outside was a 2-story room. And so it had a lot of open space in there to continue on and grow, and got into the attic spaces. And it was, unfortunately, the house was pretty much a complete loss. But, fortunately, a neighbor saved the pet that was in the house, got the code from the homeowner and saved the pet that was in the house. And additionally, no one else was hurt. No firefighters were injured. None of our personnel, none of the family was hurt, and all of those things. And, we can replace things, but we can't replace lives, and those kind of things. And when no one even gets hurt, that's what we're out there for. And that's what we want to make sure happens in all situations. But, it was a difficult situation with the wind and battling the wind and propane fed fuels and things like that on the fire. It was a very difficult situation for our firefighters.
Rehab 23 stepped in. They're always on the scene. You talk about most dependable organization, and they got to be up there on the top of the list. And I'll steal a line from Joey Edwards. He was very impressed with the neighbors in the Cobblestone community and how they not only encouraging everyone at the scene, but also providing water and snacks.
Yep.
You really just, you you understand how special Mount Juliet is to have something like that.
Oh, yeah.
You like to think every community has that, and I certainly hope they do. But to know for certain that we have that and all these gifts of generosity that you've seen in your time here just really blows you away.
Yeah, and we do have that here in Mount Juliet. And I think a lot of the neighborhoods here in Mount Juliet are the same exact way, and people want to help people. Unfortunately, it's not that way everywhere. And sometimes, even scenes that I've been on in the past with other departments, it's almost like you're inconveniencing the neighbors being where you're at and trying to help the people out when they're having a fire or that emergency situation. And it's like this neighborhood that we went to the other day, it was totally the opposite of that. They were really trying to take care of our personnel, trying to take care and love on the family and do all those kind of things. And it just means a lot when neighbors are truly neighborly and truly doing and trying to take care of people. And you can just see that all over Mount Juliet. That's a lot of what Mount Juliet is about. And you mentioned Rehab 23. Rehab 23, they're invaluable to us. I mean, they're invaluable to not just us, but every single public safety agency in our county they respond to. So whether it's the sheriff's department or Lebanon Police or Mount Juliet Police or us or Lima or anybody else, Lebanon Fire, they respond to any incident that we're on that we request them to come out. They provide water, snacks, they have cooling chairs, they have tents. They have a lot of things to just help us make sure that our firefighters are safe and healthy as they're doing that fire scene operations. Because that's another one that, this was our first, kind of the first fire in a more of a hot weather day, that we've had in a while, because we've been pretty cool.
The hottest day of the year so far.
Yeah, it was the hottest day of the year so far. And so, you don't think about all that gear that we're wearing, and all that stuff is very, very hot. And so, and you're really not acclimated to it because this is the hottest day of the year, initially. And so it really bears a lot of weight on us physically and tires you out a lot faster. And having Rehab 23 and those neighbors there to help the other day was tremendous.
And the kids were out in the cul-de-sac playing, and just your natural curiosity, you want to watch. I would almost say you might have inspired some kids to want to be firefighters, because you're going in there in a tough situation and doing the best job to the best of your ability. So really, if anything, it displays what the city of Mount Juliet has with a fire department that has a great ISO that will only continue to improve under your direction. So I think it was a way to display that to the community, which was really cool. Another thing that displayed to the community for now a little bit more than a year is our EMS department. They are a little more than a year old, and we have EMS week coming up May 19th to the 25th.
Yep.
We're going to have a lot of different organizations going to come and have lunch with our firemen and firewomen and also our fire administrators as well. That's going to be a pretty cool week, and you can't say enough about what Eric Newman and that department has given to the city, and you're seeing those tangible efforts and a lot of reports you get back.
Well, our assistant chief of EMS, Eric Newman, and our deputy chief, Joey Edwards, had a lot to do with orchestrating us becoming an EMS agency within our fire department, having an EMS agency within our fire department. And it was just tremendous, the job that they did building that program. And it's continuing to grow. As we grow as a city, it's going to continue to grow. And we started it in March a year ago. And in October, we added the third ambulance on full time. And so we got that better coverage. And then just 2 weeks ago, we started our first ever in-house EMT class. And so now we're actually the personnel that we hired years ago as firefighters that did not have, that were basically at a base level of EMS or emergency medical training. They were at what's called an EMR level, emergency medical responder. We're bringing all of those personnel up to the EMT level. And so, and then we will transition them later on in the fall. We will probably start our first advanced EMT class.
Okay.
And so that will get them from EMR level all the way up to advanced EMT. And then we plan on continuing to hire firefighter paramedics as we come to those. We look for the best people that we can find. And we'll continue to hire firefighter paramedics and kind of move the bar up and up training-wise and with those directions that we do in that. So really proud of everything that they've accomplished. This EMS, doing our own in-house EMT class is not an easy endeavor, and commend Chief Newman, and we're kind of, our lead instructor is Lieutenant Eric Compton, and he is doing a great job with that class as well. And so it's just a fantastic way that we kind of are giving back to the community by enhancing everything that we have online for us.
Dumb question, but you're also giving back to your employees too, because you're able to do this in-house, not send them off, and at no cost to the employee as well. And I love that about Kenny Martin. He's always like, Justin, do you need more training, X, Y, and Z? Go do it. And that's basically what you're able to do with your personnel as well.
Well, and what it gives us the ability to do is instead of sending them to a community college to complete their EMT and advanced EMT or paramedic programs, it gives us the ability to can do that in-house. So instead of sending 2 or 3 people to class and spend an X number of dollars, that we would have to spend to send those people to class, we can train 15 or 20 for the same cost and less impactful to them because they can do it straight from here, straight here while they're on duty or on their off days here in Mount Juliet and not have to be traveling to campus, in another community. That's
impressive. Last thing I want to talk about, and we've taken up quite some time. I always enjoy your company and the time spent. Did you hear about the news yesterday, the breaking news?
What's the breaking
City
news?
Mountain. Come on, you know what it is.
Oh, yeah, I heard about it.
New business coming to town.
Business coming in.
Sprouts,
that's right.
Tell us how the fire department aids Sprouts, not only keeping their structure, but like getting them online. I know that has a lot to do with Brent Blaemeyer's our fire marshal, but also you've worked in government for quite some time. You, if anybody, understands that we have to celebrate Sprouts like none other because of the resources and the sales tax that it'll generate for the city. Like Kenny Martin, every other sentence he's talking about support your local businesses, and it's not just words. He means it because we're able to do so much because of the businesses that choose to come to Mount Juliet and how the people here patronize those businesses as well.
Absolutely. Those businesses are huge for us because that's what drives our community and everything. And Sprouts is just another great addition. We've had BJ's back at the end of the year last year that opened up. We have Costco opening up next month, and then we have the announcement of Sprouts coming, and
quite the big three right there, man.
Yep, it's a lot of great things happening in Mount Juliet, and our fire marshal Brent Blaemeyer, he literally works with Jennifer Hamlin, as you mentioned earlier, Development Services Director, and a lot of the planning staff, as well as the building department, who is housed now right there in the same building with us. We work together to make it easier for those businesses to come online, but we also work with them to ensure that our residents and our visitors are safe when they're in those environments. So those are very large buildings. All 3 of those are large buildings, large scale buildings. And if you have a disaster happen in those buildings where we have a fire or other situation, we got to make sure that everything's in place to keep everybody in there safe and make sure that we're safe all the way down the line. And so I really applaud Brent for the work that he does, working with them from the very get-go. On making sure that their fire suppression systems are in place, the fire alarm systems in place, that we have, ways to get people out the doors if we need to in an emergency situation, those emergency exits and different things like that. So it's just a huge thing for us to work with them because we try to make it easier on them because we want them to come here, and having a great ISO rating and lowering that gets us to the point of where it's lower on insurance and everything else.
Are you going to tell Brent that you're bragging on him? I know we give him a tough time. You gonna let him hear that?
I might.
Well, do I need to take this video down as soon as possible?
Probably. We can't let him think we're too proud of him.
Right. Hey, we need to probably we had a really good crowd here today.
Yep.
We, as in me, Justin Beasley, communications director, should let people know where we're going to be and maybe kind of make it like a meet the chief type thing. I've seen other cities do that here recently. So we have been to you're all right? We have been to Cinco de Mayo. We have now been to Calabria Brickoven Pizzeria and have plans next month, and we'll do a graphic. We're going to be at Basement Marketplace to promote Julie Rooswald, the owner there, and she has a big event coming up in May. So join us there. Be on the lookout for that date. Anything else fire related? Because I like to ask you some sports stuff before we check out to humanize you a little bit.
Not that I know of.
What did you think of the orange-white game? I didn't watch any of it. Are you a baseball fan? And who do you want the Titans to pick with 7? That's a lot at once.
I think definitely the Titans need to pick an offensive lineman.
Yes.
For sure. We need that's a pretty good offensive tackle out there that they could probably pick up. We don't want anybody else to steal them. So with that. And so, the Titans definitely need to pick up. I am a baseball fan for sure.
Cardinals?
Braves. Grew up in Knoxville, so went down and watched the Braves as a kid with my dad a long time ago. And so been a Braves fan for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Also a fan of the Tennessee Volunteers baseball team. Orange and white game, I thought, although I didn't really get a chance to see it because I was too busy with a lot of things going on, but I think that a lot of good reviews came from it. I think getting Nico in there for his first starting reps in the orange and white game and spring practice will go a long way for this fall.
Yeah, people are calling it the playoff era. I guess as long as
Yeah.
he's the quarterback, it's the playoff era. You go to playoff every year. So,
We hope
Mark,
so.
Mark Foulks, thank you for the time. Valentarifi, also with Calabria Brickoven Pizzeria. Man, you can't say enough about him. Just
Absolutely
salt
not.
and light of Mount Juliet, and always a phone call away, always hospitable to us. So we certainly appreciate that. Mark, tell everybody, see you later, and we'll see them next time.
Thank you all so much. We'll see you soon.